Hey guys, Craig, Fergie time. Today I got a really cool show for you. We're going to chat with Steven. His IG is that fat pumpkin, and he drives an awesome Jeep. He's in the Colorado Rescue. He's a great spotter. That's really what we're going to chat most about today, is just spotting and kind of how he sees the lines and how he helps drivers through difficult obstacles. So I'm excited. Check it out, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thanks, guys. This is Craig, Fergie time. Today I am with Steven, that fat pumpkin. Sorry, not pumpkin. Pumpkin. Yeah, no, I'm excited to have Steve on. I don't know if you saw Mike a couple weeks ago, Mike Randall, Trail Finder. He really talked a lot about spotters. And then last week we talked with Reggie, but we talked about spotting there as well and just how important it was. And that's why I got Steven on the show. So Steven, he's a great spotter, off-roader, rescuer, all that good stuff. So thanks for hanging out with us.
Thanks for the invite. Appreciate it.
When did you start wheeling, and when did you, what's your backstory? Oh, I like your shirt. I just noticed your shirt. That is cool.
I've been off-roading and off and on for a couple decades, but not continuously. But more recently, probably in the last... more intensely, I should say, probably in the last 5-6 years. Started doing more than I've ever done before, right? The rigs are more capable, trails are more accessible in a sense. So, last 5 years, but off and on probably since the 80s.
What was your Jeeps like?
So I had a CJ.
Before the pumpkin.
Before the latest one, I had a CJ7, and then I had two TJs that were both, one was a 97, the other was a 98. I loved it, but it was compact, the family, so I had to get rid of it as I had more kids. But as the kids have gotten out, got my current JL pumpkin, probably, like I said, 5 years ago. So it's been a blast with it, though. This has been my favorite Jeep by far.
Did you get it with the intention that you were gonna wheel like crazy?
Yeah, I definitely. Well, I wouldn't say that I was gonna wheel like crazy, but I did get it with the intention. I bought the Rubicon, and so I did get it with the intention of having a lot of stuff from the factory ready to go.
When I first met you, you really helped me out with creating a power tank.
Yep.
Do you remember that?
I do.
Facebook.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. That was... Dude, I still look back and I was telling my wife, this guy helped me build this power tank. He's going to come over to make sure I did it right and I don't blow up. And she's like, do you know him? No, but we're on Facebook. We drive Jeeps. It's all good. And then, when we went on the Rainbow Falls run a couple years ago, you and Hunter were like the main spotters. And I remember you let me drive your Jeep up Mini Moab.
You took up the little Mini Moab. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And that was the moment where I was like, why did I get a stick shift? Why didn't I get an automatic? You seem to be one of the people that always gets asked to spot when we go wheeling and all that stuff. How did you become one of the people that always seem to do that job?
That's a good question. I don't remember a specific moment in time, but I think I like helping people. I was, on the ski patrol for 20 some odd years. I've belonged to Colorado 4x4 Rescue Recovery here in Colorado. So I like helping people. Spotting at some level comes more natural, I think. I mountain bike a lot, and so seeing lines from mountain biking, going back to ski patrolling, taking people down a toboggan, things like that. So seeing the lines comes more natural in a sense, and so the ability or willingness to actually get out and go do it. So a lot of people don't want to spot, and I generally don't mind. Knock on wood. Fortunately, I haven't rolled anybody. I probably just jinxed myself. I've encountered some good spotters over the years, and I've tried to pick up on things that they did. But a lot of it, I think, at the end of the day, just comes down to trust and communication and trying to give the driver and the vehicle confidence in themselves and in their rig. And so just doing that over and over again. What's helped a lot is I help guide, and I'm a gunner over at in Sand Hollow for Trail Hero and for Winter Jamboree. So I see a lot of vehicles and get the opportunity to spot a lot there. And then as you know, just wheeling around the area and stuff like that.
Curious. It's just like, how do you see, like, all right, if you take this line, you're going to go here, your back's going to slide, or you're going to do this. Like, how do you see into the future? Is it just because you've seen it so many times, or?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is that, but to your point, some of it is, looking at four tires and seeing where they're going to go. One of the things I think too that makes a good spotter, at least when I've looked at the spotters that I've thought highly of, is you really spot for two things. You spot for the driver and you spot for the rig. And what I mean by that is, the line on this particular obstacle may work well for a two-door, but maybe not a four-door and vice versa, right? Short base versus a longer wheelbase. And then you might have somebody who has more experience behind the wheel and others who don't. So some of it's just looking at where the tires are going to go or where you need them to go to get traction, or where they're going to lose traction, things of that nature. So a lot of it just boils down to being able to rapidly look at where the tires are, looking at the driver, looking at the vehicle. Like I said, all that plays into it.
I was going to say, I wonder, because if you spot someone in a TJ and here comes a Gladiator, if they take the same lines, it could be totally different results, right?
Absolutely. And that's why I said you always, spot to the rig and spot. So the same line, there's certain obstacles where there's a line, and that's the line that everybody's got to go up. But a lot of obstacles have different options and things like that. So part of it's just looking at, what's not going to put person behind the wheel in danger. We don't want them flopping, rolling, doing damage to the vehicle or anything like that. So to your point, it is very different, right? Very, very short wheelbase, CJ, TJ compared to a Gladiator, even a JL, they are very, very different. So it's just a matter of, like I said, just trying to make sure that they're going to be as successful as they can and increase their confidence. The biggest thing in spotting is communication. So I always ask people, do you want to be spotted? So I look at it from being the spotter as well as the spottee, right, the person behind there. So some people don't want to spot.
So what if someone doesn't want to be spotted?
Then, they've got it on their own, right? That's what you're trying to tell them is, hey, you got this. I'll step back and let them, like I said, like you said, they're going to try the obstacle. Some people, right, I've been there, they've done the obstacle 10 times, they don't need a spotter. I think some people sometimes take asking for a spot as a sign of weakness. And it's really, really not, right? There are times where I still will ask for a spot on certain obstacles. A lot of it is, you mentioned hand signals, verbal signals. Hand signals are good a lot of times when, if you've got noise, the engine's running, you got other vehicles around, so sometimes it's hard to hear, but also where you position yourself. So trying to get maybe at a 45-degree angle so that they can hear you out their window. Like you said, not left, right? Because left, right, and the driver, left, right from the spotter might be different. So driver, passenger is always a good thing to do. It's a pet peeve of mine when I'm getting spotted. Is, you've gone through an obstacle, you've turned left, you've turned right, you're doing all this stuff, and the spotter says, okay, straighten out. And a lot of times, you're looking at your steering wheel and you have no idea anymore which way to go to straighten out, right? We've all been there. So a lot of it is, if you want somebody to go straight, then just tell them, go back passenger, yep, and then get them centered that way. There's little things too. If you say driver, passenger, usually you'll talk to the person and say, if I say driver, passenger, I mean a little bit. If I say hard driver, hard passenger, that means more of a turn and things like that. So a lot of it is communication. But the other thing that is tough sometimes, people forget, if somebody's coming up on an obstacle on an incline, they may lose sight of you. So what I try to do is, I'm not 6'6", like squats on the rocks and stuff like that. So you're going to lose sight of me pretty quick. So I try to get my hands way up high, in the air, and I'll ask them, if you always, can you see my hands? If you can't see my hands, then, reposition or something like that.
Have you ever seen anybody roll over that was being spotted?
Oh, yeah. I have seen people definitely roll either with spotters or without spotters. But, you gave the example earlier. If somebody says, hey, I don't want a spotter, not wanting the spot, I'm not going to, I'll walk away, step back. But if I see something where they're, putting themselves...
I was curious, if you see them getting ready to tumble, do you hey?
Exactly.
Have you ever seen a spotter, just give the wrong information?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, right, at the end of the day, we're all humans, right? So we all make mistakes. If you make the obstacle, it's the spotter. If you don't make the obstacle, it's the driver. What do you do if you see another spotter you think giving bad directions, bad spotting, and it's tough. It's a hard situation, right? And I think one of the things I ask myself, you have to remind yourself is, would you spot them just differently, or is it, or is the spot going to put them in a precarious position where they're going to flop, roll, do damage? If that's the case, then I might speak up, right? But other than that, I'm more inclined probably to bite my lip.
Can you share a time where you helped a nervous driver overcome their fears? And then along with that is just how do you help new drivers build their confidence on the trails?
If you go to Sand Hollow, right out in Utah, it's a different type of wheeling than a lot of people are used to. And so we get a lot of folks that come out there that maybe have wheeled in other areas and they're kind of newer to it. So
they're like from different parts of the country and they're just not used to that rock. Okay.
Exactly. That type of rock or that type of obstacle, set of obstacles, things like that. So we have a lot of people come in with some degree of confidence, but sometimes they see an obstacle or whatnot and they get a little bit nervous. So I'm maybe odd for thinking this way, but I enjoy seeing other people conquer their fears. I enjoy seeing people get confidence, right? So that I think probably drives why I like spotting so much as well, is just seeing people understand what their rigs are capable of and what they're capable of. But a lot of it is, you don't push people too far, right? There's a point of trying to figure out, if somebody really doesn't want to do something, then don't make them. But there's other people where maybe they need a little bit of a push to get them over the hump and things like that. I think the important thing is communication, so talking and then instilling trust. Generally speaking, what I find with new wheelers especially, their rigs are generally more capable than they are. And so a lot of it is finding out what the limits of your rig are versus what are the limits of the driver themselves.
Have you ever spotted someone and they're kind of in the middle, so they can't really back out, but they're just so frustrated and you're just gotta talk them off the ledge just to get them through it?
Years ago, I was talking to a guy that I really admired from a spotting perspective. One of the things he said, right, is as a spotter, you always have to show confidence. And so part of it is, regardless of what's going on, don't let your anxiety or anxiousness or, don't make faces like, with the driver, right? So exactly. You're trying to want to maintain that confidence with them. But there are times where there's, you're in an obstacle and there's no backing up. There's no getting out of it. And so ideally, pull a winch line, live to fight another day. I like to say you try to get them through, where you can, but sometimes they may get to a point where over the years, I've had a couple drivers that start hyperventilating. I had one young woman several years ago that literally bailed on the rig. The rig was running and she opened the door and hopped out. It
so
happens.
What'd you do? Someone get in and finish it for her? Or?
Yep. Get her through the obstacle, get off the side, regroup. Again, live to fight another day. I don't want anybody walking away with a bad experience, right? So we want, regardless of what's going on, if I'm at an event or if I'm just wheeling with buddies on the weekend and stuff like that, especially with new people, you want them to have a good taste in their mouth so they come back and enjoy the trails.
What's the most challenging trail you've guided someone through?
So Sand Hollow, the one so it's a trail called Front Range, and it's a fun trail, but it's tough because there's different obstacles and different lines that some people are not used to. So, for example, one of the entrance points is the V-notch, and you really got to ride your sidewall. And a lot of people aren't necessarily comfortable with riding their sidewall up an obstacle and things like that. I just remember after doing that trail, I'm mentally exhausted.
The toughest trail you've gotten Mike through. Now he's doing everything, and he owes a lot of that to you. So how did you get him to that level?
I think it was just, Mike, he had a rig, and your rig's more capable than you think it is. And a lot of it is a matter of just getting confidence. And so it's like a lot of things. If you want to get better at something, go do it with people that are better than you, right? So, whether it be skiing, mountain biking, in my case, right, go with somebody who's better than you, that can help show you things. And Mike's out leading, and doing stuff, and other people I see, well, I don't know if I want to try it. And Mike's, JK Trail Finder to the rest of it. He's up there and out and doing it. So kudos to him. But I think a lot of it's just, again, making sure you're having fun. If you're spotting somebody, get them to get that self-confidence. And it makes me feel great because, like I said, it's awesome to go out and wheel with them. Especially if you're trying to wheel maybe more difficult trails, you want your friends, your buddies, new people, more of the community to be able to enjoy that as well.
Well, yeah, and you said you really like helping people, and that's kind of how you got into the rescue effort. So how did that start? You just saw a group and wanted to join?
Yeah, I had heard about Colorado 4x4 Rescue Recovery here in Colorado. I had, like I said before, I had ski patrolled for over 20 some odd years. So I liked that helping. And when I stopped, doing the ski patrol, looking for something else to go do, I have an off-road vehicle. I like helping people, but it also is an opportunity. We've learned a lot in that organization as well. So that's just something that when I'm out, spotting in Sand Hollow or on the trails, right, and something happens and being able to recover folks. But I also like the camaraderie piece of it as well.
I saw there was a time where you got rescued out. I don't know if it was Moab or somewhere by that guy. I watch his YouTube videos with the yellow truck.
Oh, actually, no, that was in Moab. I got recovered on Cliffhanger. I had a ball joint shear and break, and Rory came out and got me. And actually, his Jeep behind us broke a drive shaft that day, and Mater broke in there. But yeah, it was a long day. But no, Rory came all the way out at the end of Cliffhanger, got me off the trail. It happens, to all of us. There are things that are recoverable on the trail, and there's other things where you go just get off the trail and get going. I got lucky at that time, so I was able to get that taken care of and then be able to wheel that EJS the rest of the week.
What's one of the more memorable rescues you've been a part of?
Year and a half ago, down at Blanca, we were asked to go down and recover a vehicle off of there where a gentleman lost his life in that. And so that was a tough recoveries. You like the ones where you're going off and the people are alive and well and safe and you're going to back down. And so in this particular case, it was more of a recovery function of getting the vehicle back down off the trail and whatnot. There's been other ones where myself and another guy in our recovery group had to go out like at 11 o'clock at night to recover some younger people in the early 20s that were out on the trail, had been out digging for a long time, and it was late at night. One of the girls was starting to get hypothermia, and so be able to get up there, get them down and safe.
How'd they get a hold of you?
So they have cell phone signals, satellite devices, things like that they can call our number and reach out to us.
You get paid for that?
No.
You get called at 11 o'clock at night? Like, is this volunteer?
It is. It's all volunteer. Yeah, we don't charge for any of our services, and so I encourage people. If you're in a place where a tow truck can't get you here in Colorado, call us. We'll come get you, and there's no charge. We take donations, but we don't charge for any of our services. Everybody in there is a 100% volunteer.
Can you share a couple tips for someone new?
Never go alone, right? That's an obvious one,
Yeah.
but that's a mistake. But always go with somebody. Get some sort of GPS app, whether it be Onyx, Gaia, that can show you, where you're at, give coordinates in case you are in trouble. You can, it's easy to identify where you're at. But it also kind of helps you, if you get lost or something like that, kind of knowing where you need to get to. So the second thing is make sure that you go prepared. And what I mean by prepared is whether that be equipment, whether that be a winch, recovery items, so, redirect. But also go prepared, meaning food and water. A lot of times new off-roaders, you go out and, especially the places that you off-road, sometimes it's more remote. And so, your water situation, you may drink more water than you think, especially if you get stuck, because you tend to go out and try to work, whether it be digging, whatever, but you're going to work up a sweat, you're going to get dehydrated, and so wanting to drink. Your equipment that you're using, try to use it before you get on the trail. If you're going to winter wheel, for example, and you have chains, don't wait until you get into the mountains on the trail to try putting the chains on when it's 12 degrees out and snowing. Go do it in your driveway in the summer or the fall. So get to know your equipment.
It's the funniest thing you've seen while on the trails.
Something actually happened to me several years ago when I was actually spotting. I was spotting Julie, who's Aqua Jeep Girl. That was one of the first times I ever met her, and I was spotting her on a trail in Sand Hollow. And my own fault, but I was up against a rock, and she was coming up this lip, and I couldn't get out of the way. And she stopped at the top, and she stopped right on my foot. Literally, I was a foot away from her, and she kind of saw the reaction on my face, and so I was kind of stuck there for a second, and then she kind of rolled off of it. That was pretty funny. I tease her about it. She teases me about it now. Funny stuff happens, all the time out there if you're willing with good people, good friends, and that's one of the things about this community is you and I met through off-roading, right? So that is, to me, that's what's great about the community is being able to
Well, that was the next thing I was going to ask you is just how do you feel about the off-roading community and just friendship with fellow off-roaders?
So like anything you do, right, you have good and bad. Some of my best friends today are, I met through off-roading. I really love our community. We're not perfect, right? We have politics and everything that gets into that as well. But if you just go out for the pure wheeling and stuff like that, like I said, I'm a huge fan of the people that I get to wheel with. Like I said, they're not just good necessarily off-roaders, but they're good human beings. And I think at the end of the day, that's what makes it even more enjoyable.
That fat pumpkin is your IG handle. You're not very active on IG. Like, you're not one of those IG people. Like, you obviously have all of these crazy stuff that you're doing.
I don't have a video co-pilot person, who's out, getting that social media stuff. No, I'm not, super active on it. I mostly am on it just to keep up with other people. Post things here and there as I can. I wheel to wheel and less social media.
So when you go to Trail Hero, you're there for a week, and are you just wheeling like
Absolutely.
all the time?
Absolutely, yeah. Right? From morning till night, get there early, wheel, and Trail Hero is and Winter Jamboree, right? They're great events. It's also a great opportunity to meet all your social media friends and things like that, people that are out there. And so a lot of those things, it's fun to go wheel, it's fun to go spot, but it's also a blast just to hang out with the people. Like I said, great folks, great friends. When you spend money, you can spend it on a thing, or you can spend it on an experience. And for me, I spend money on my Jeep because of the experiences that it enables me to have, if you will, right? So the Jeep allows me to go places and do things and meet people that I might not otherwise meet. And so, yes, while I'm spending money on my Jeep, I'm really doing it to enable the experiences that I can have, because those are the ones that I remember. Like, when I look back over the years and the different Jeeps that I've had and stuff like that, yeah, some of them were cool and it was awesome. But if you ask me about the things that I remember associated with my Jeep, it is, taking my son out. It is taking my dad out, right? It's, a lot of people know me in Sand Hollow that I let everybody drive my Jeep. out there.
Yeah, I saw Darby posted something
Exactly,
driving your Jeep.
Yep. And I like it because, like I said, it's the thing that, enables them to have an experience, or the experience that I get to have with them. To me, at the end of the day is important. Those are the things that I'm going to remember, and those are the things that I think most people are going to remember.
That's what I'm going to tell my wife. We're not spending money on the Jeep. It's experiences.
It absolutely is, right? And man of self sit through there, but
Fun, rapid fire questions. You ready? What's been your favorite age so far?
Probably late teens, early 20s. Great memories in high school, college, just phenomenal people that I hung out with, and I had a blast.
What's one of your nicknames?
Years ago, I was called Beta. A lot of people call me Beta. Just because I was always second best at everything. I did a lot of sports.
Jack of all trades, master of
none, master of a few maybe. And then other people call me Peter Pan because I don't grow up.
What's one thing you regret spending money on?
I spent some money on some LED lights to put on the inside of my rig, and it was kind of cool for a little bit, and then I was like kicking myself. It stopped working, it started peeling apart, and all sorts of stuff. So it was a waste, but that was one of those where I'm like, what was I thinking?
What movie do you enjoy quoting the most?
Probably The Princess Bride. A lot of great quotes out of there. PP's in that word.
I've never even seen The Princess Bride.
Oh, Craig, you and Krista got to go see The Princess Bride.
What is your hidden talent?
I have no talents. It is so hidden. They're so hidden. I'm not a very talented person. I don't have a lot of gifts. I'm not like you. I'm not musically inclined. I love listening to music, but I cannot carry a tune in a bucket. Can't play an instrument. Maybe I do have a talent. It's just really, really, really hidden, and it's even hidden from myself.
You haven't found it yet. That's all.
Haven't found it yet. Exactly.
If your life had a theme song, what song would it be?
Probably The Dance by Garth Brooks. There's a particular line that said, I could have missed, basically I could have missed the pain, but I would have had to miss the dance. And so, life comes with a lot of pain, but without it, you don't get to enjoy the dance in life.
Dude, that's awesome. Well, thanks for hanging out with me.
Thank you for the invite. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, that was Steven, and I hope you got something from that. Such a cool guy. And he definitely does just want to help people. First time I met him was through Facebook, and he walked me through how to build my own power tank. And then he happened to live pretty close to me and just drove to my house and helped me set it up. And he spotted me a few times, and he definitely will help push you, and he knows what you can do. And just an awesome guy. So I hope you like that show. Again, like, subscribe, all that's good stuff. We're on YouTube, we're on Spotify. I'm trying to figure out Apple Podcasts, so I don't know. We'll figure that out. But if there's anyone else you want us to talk to, definitely let us know. And appreciate you guys. Fergie, thejku.com. Later.